Welcome to BandDirector.com. My name is Doug Bianchi, Director of Bands at Wayne State University. We're going to present today a little discussion about the baton and the baton grip for conductors who may have a little problem. Particularly younger conductors who, between the time you took your conducting class and you get your first job, may have given you a little time to acquire some bad habits. And it's always good to review during your career your baton grip, your stance, your posture, etc. Remember, this is your instrument. The baton, generally speaking, should be about as long as the forearm to the tip of your hand. Many conductors, it seems to me, use batons that are a little smaller than appropriate to the ensemble. When you were in conducting class at college or university, you may have had a smaller group in front of you to work with. Now you get your first job and you have a large band. You might need to adjust the baton to have a little bit longer one, but that's your choice. But give it some serious consideration. The grip, of course, should be comfortable, and of course we want it to fit in the palm of the hand. Wrap the fingers around and make sure that you have a nice elegant line from the tip to the elbow here, placing it in such a way that probably coming out from the sternum you would see the point. Do not have your hand in any kind of other positions like this, because you want it to more or less float as if it was moving along a parallel line with the floor. Many younger conductors have acquired some bad habits, such as leaving the fingertips off or bringing the baton in such a way that it comes across the body like this. It has to go out this way. So you're doing this, it's very hard to read your pattern, plus your pattern may be onto the area that you're centered with in your eyes. So again, try to take your elbow and the tip of your baton and create one consistent line. Now, the baton, and this is just one of my maybe idiosyncrasies, because I believe it is your instrument, should probably not in your band room be touched by anyone else or left on your stand for anyone to just come by and pick it up. Many conductors like to have student conductors. I would suggest that you use another baton for them to use, and maybe only on the final concert when you let that senior conduct the band for one last go at it, you allow them to use your instrument. But just a thought. It is also something you need to consider throughout your career: the type of grip, the length, and again, reviewing in front of the mirror exactly what you look like when you are conducting. Now, to move forward with that, think of a line across the chest and a line coming through. Notice, I ask my students to take their hands like this, more or less making a V. And where that comes out is probably where the tip of the baton should be. No lower, no higher. Again, you must think that you're going to be doing this for many, many hours, for many, many years. There'll be a lot of strain this way, conducting, and down here, no one will be able to see below the stand. So keep it at this point in front of you, and that should line you up perfectly with your ensemble. Again, you're more or less like a tourist with the baton in your hand, pointing and controlling the ensemble. One of the dangers in learning the art of conducting are all the distractions you have to put up with during the day. I would suggest that if you're worried about your grip, worried about some of the things we're discussing, index cards on the podium to remind you. So after you're done taking attendance, answering questions regarding the band banquet, sending students down to the counseling center, and listening to the morning announcements, you'll still have the wherewithal when you get on the podium to remember to check your grip. Another good thing to do is simply have one of your students watch you. Also a good video camera in the back of the room once a week to check your body alignment, your posture, and your grip is a good way to check on a regular basis your performance. Now, this of course doesn't do us any good unless our patterns are very clear. And I want to emphasize that to the young conductor, we're trying to get good, clean patterns that are easy to read, and as you develop, your actual goal will be to create sound. And this is the biggest distinction, I think, between a young conductor and a more mature conductor. A young conductor is trying to get the patterns correct, whereas an older conductor who has more experience is making the patterns in a particular way to create a sound. Now, I mentioned earlier about making sure we have this imaginary line wherein we will be able to create our patterns cleanly. Pretend you are going to take your pattern and knot it whenever you're at the end. For example, a 4 pattern would have 1, 2, 3, and we come back here. Now, a lot of diagrams in books look like they have the pattern coming up on 4, or if you have a 3 pattern, it comes up. But in reality, it always ties a little knot and comes back to the center point. So if we have 1, 2, 3, 4 comes in like this as you bring it up. That way you have an energy point for the beginning and the ending of each pattern. Likewise, 3 would be here, 4. Sometimes when we talk about conducting, we use the word choreography, and it tends to have a nasty connotation, as if you had prepared all your movements. But I really think as a young conductor, and even the more experienced conductor, need to practice the patterns, get in front of a mirror, and know exactly what you're going to do each part of the piece, through each part of the piece, I should say. For example, when you're writing an essay, you may use a particular word to emphasize a point, but you'll only use that word once during the course of that essay. You wouldn't keep using the same unique word for in every paragraph. It's got its special moment. Well, there might be a moment in the piece that you're conducting that has a particular hue, nuance, and you need to use a particular gesture. You're going to have to seek out what that gesture is, and I can think of no other way except getting in front of a mirror and seeing which one seems to work. Then trying it out on your ensemble to see if indeed it does create the quality of sound you want at that point.